Hello, is this thing on? Yes, it is. Okay. Good afternoon. Today's date is 2. I have a pile of Magic the Gathering stuff that I have been waiting to open for a while. Some of this stuff I've had for over a week. The most recent thing I got on Friday. I think I'll open these in the order that I decided to have them. Which means this comes first, because I decided to have this before Halloween, because it's a Halloween-themed, Secret Lair times Stranger Things. Oh, that's really cool, the box. Most of the other, Secret Lairs have gold text on them, but this is fancy. I don't actually remember what these cards do. They are unique to the actual product. Oh, the gold inside the box has been replaced as well. This is really nicely packaged. Okay, there's a secret thing here. I'm gonna hide that for now. You might have seen what that was, but I'm staring through a camera, and I also have the, I'm using this bendy grabby claw thing to hold my phone up to record this. And I've just destroyed my entire setup by showing it off, but, point is, I can barely see what I'm doing because the grabby claw is covering the screen. But, you know, even through the layers of separation, this looks pretty cool to me. Let me do this right next to the microphone, just so that I hate myself when I edit this video. Alright, so here's what we actually have. The Mind Flayer Shadow, 4 black mana cost. A legendary enchantment creature of the horror type. It isn't a creature, of course, unless you control 3 or more permanents you don't own. It's also a 9/9. At the beginning of your end step, you exile the bottom card of each opponent's library face down, and you may look at them and cast permanents with any color of mana. So it's a good old-fashioned theft creature, and as soon as you've decided to steal 3 things, it turns into a 9/9 that, you know, you can murder with. It's also got the nice constellation border that enchantment creatures sometimes get. Maybe always, I don't know. Cool art. Very cool art. I appreciate this card. It almost makes me want to play a black deck. For some reason, the next card is upside down. So, or maybe this is the This card was upside down. Wait. Okay, fair play, Wizards. So now we have Chief Jim Hopper, a legendary human soldier with menace, investigates for each non-token attacking creature, and it has partner, but only with Stranger Things characters. This is not the most exciting card in the set, but, you know, it works for what it works for. Here's Dustin. He's got the same partner ability. He's got 2 colorless mana for artifacts. It's been a while since I saw Stranger Things. I don't particularly remember Dustin being overly gadgety. I guess it was mostly in the season 3, huh? Here's 11. Your maximum hand size is 11, which is just funny. Whenever 11 attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life, which makes sense. She's got psychic abilities that make her nose explode. Then, if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, you may cast an instant or sorcery without paying its mana cost, which is probably where the Is It colors come in here. Pretty cool card. Pretty fun ways to do that. Pretty fun stuff that you can do with that, especially with access to blue and red. And the fact that you can just cast sorcery spells during a combat step. Little interesting there. The only thing I don't appreciate about this card as much as I want to is that the artwork is a little unflattering for the character. Like, I will say that it looks a bit better in person than it did when I was reading through the cards on the website, but I would appreciate if there was an alt picture available, but since it's just the one crossover product, we're probably not going to get that. Oh well. Lucas is only 2 mana, which is appropriate for the fact that all he does is ping stuff by blowing up your own artifacts. To be fair, if you run this in like a treasure deck, you can have a ridiculous number of expendable artifacts, and then just, I don't know, give him Death Touch or something. Not a bad card, for sure. It's also very shiny. All of these cards are shiny. I like shiny cards. Here's Max. I'm a little surprised that Max has a card, as opposed to, you know, like Steve, or anyone that was important for multiple seasons in a row. Because she was introduced in Season 3, wasn't she? Or was she introduced in Season 2? I need to rewatch this show, don't I? Anyway, she's a 3/2 with haste for 3 mana, which is not terrible by itself. She also untaps creatures and creates clues the second time you cast a spell each turn, which is, you know, if you're playing Commander, which is what I mostly play, that is up to 4 times per cycle around the table. So if you've got a ton of really cheap spells, especially instants, you can do a bunch of wacky stuff, especially if one of those creatures that you're using, or that you're untapping rather, is a mana producing creature. Or since you're in green, you could just have, you know, Ayasha. We got Mike. So Mike has really interesting expression. But besides that, for 2 mana, you can just resurrect something as long as it hasn't been dead for very long. He has Revivify, because he's the Dungeon Master, I guess. Sure. This artwork is very monochromatic, which makes it hard for the foil effect to stand out much, but this is basically a tempting offer for clue tokens that also has a drain effect on anyone who decides not to help you. And it triggers anytime he enters or leaves the battlefield, which means you cast him, and then you cast every blink spell in the game. Yep. And of course there is the funny clue token. So yeah, I appreciate these cards. This is gonna be really stupid to say, but I almost like the box better than the actual, you know, product. I'm a little surprised they didn't use the Demo Gorgon, since, for one thing, there is already a Mind Flayer card in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. There's not a Demogorgon card, so it's a little awkward to choose this villain. I would also argue the Demogorgon is a much more iconic Stranger Things villain than the Mind Flayer. But this artwork is pretty sick. So, you know, I'm okay with it. So, that's all the stuff that I was expecting, because it was on the advertisement, it was on the store page for this product. I don't think this was actually on the store. This is the bonus card. Okay, so the bonus card is Hawkins National Laboratory, legendary land for colorless with a pay 4 tap investigate. Fair enough. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed 3 or more clues this turn, which I think you can do that just with Tamiyo's Journal, right? So you don't necessarily need to be paying 6 mana to do that. But the trigger is transform Hawkins National Laboratory. Haha, this guy died. Actually, did he? The Upside Down is also a legendary land, and transforming cards normally flip that way. This one does not. Haha, funny. When this land transforms into the Upside Down, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, fair enough. When the creature put onto the battlefield with the Upside Down leaves the battlefield, transform the Upside Down. Huh. You know, this is actually... This means that clue tokens are permanent reanimation in the right build. Because all you have to do is sacrifice the 3 clue tokens, wait to your end step or skip to your end step, grab something out of your graveyard, and then if you want to do that again, you can either, well, first of all, you could blink the upside down, but blinking the resurrected creature is having them leave the battlefield and then they come back anyway. And you can resurrect something else. That's pretty good. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. About what I expected on account of most of the cards were on the storefront page. So I literally knew what was going to be in here other than the legendary land. What I didn't know is that they were gonna go all out on the actual package design. I really appreciate that, because that is a super cool box. But enough Secret Lair. That thing was a Halloween product, so, you know, it's a bit out of season. You know what I got more recently is a Dungeons & Dragons Essentials Kit. Why did I get this? Well, for 2 reasons. First reason that I was getting it is because I recently joined a new D&D group. Turns out it didn't have as many new players as I was expecting, so we're starting at level 5 instead of, you know, not using the full rulebook, which is why I still haven't opened the Essentials Kit. The other reason that I got it, so I thought my phone ran out of memory just now, but it turns out what actually happened is that for some reason, my camera app interprets the volume key, the volume button on the side of the phone, as a record button, and the claw attachment that I'm using to hold my phone up squeezed the volume button and stopped the recording. Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. New to Magic the Gathering? No, not really. So this is a welcome booster, which one might speculate that a welcome booster is meant as a very enticing advertisement for the actual product, and thus could have some pretty good cards in it. Or at least flashy cards, like, you know, shiny ones, alt art, something like that, maybe. Or it could just tell you that Magic the Gathering exists. Okay, well, yeah, that's a booster fun beholder right off the bat. Very fancy beholder. Another advertisement. Arcane Investigator in foil. Nice. Sunblast Angel. Destroy all tapped creatures. Interesting. Oh, dungeon map. Zhang Yangu Wildcrafter. Legendary Planeswalker Yangu? What? Okay. I've never heard of this person. Interesting. Ooh, Lost Mine of Phandelver? Is that what the adventure's called? I have literally always thought that it was Lost Mines of Phandelver. Am I stupid? This is also a goblin, appropriately enough. Tyrant's Familiar. Creature Dragon. Flying Haste. Commander gives it +2/+2. And pseudo double strike. Targeted double strike. Ish. Yeah. That's cool. Cool dragon. Atarka World Render. Flying Trample. Just gives dragons double strike. Pretty cool. Ooh, Cleric class in foil. That's fancy. Appropriately fancy for a welcome booster, I would say, I would argue. Download a redesigned character sheet. I think I did see those. They're interesting in terms of layout. I don't know how to feel about it. Oh, a forest. Basic land forest. Oh. I better, I should probably type that code in before I edit this video. So yeah, the welcome booster. It's got some neat things in here. Atarka World Render is pretty super cool, maybe? I don't know. Some of these cards are cool. Some of these cards are interesting. Wasn't sure what to expect out of that particular thing, but kind of fun. The actual Essentials Kit has this thing, which What is this? It's just a box. It's a cardboard box. Dice. That's slightly more dice than usual. It's 3 extra d6s and a d20 for advantage. They are just kind of generic resin dice. Not particularly exciting, but it's good to have extra dice. Dragon Dungeons, Dragons and Dungeons and Dragons, a dungeon with a dragon. I'm not reading this right now. Oh, that's potentially useful. Ow. How high does this go? Ah. I suppose this is for just turn order, rather than what your actual initiative is. That could be useful. Oh, condition cards. You know, these actually are solid as a tool. What? Oh, and they also have a combat thing. These are just NPCs for the adventure, I'm guessing. That's not overly useful outside the context of the adventure, but we've got some magic items. These punch-out cards are actually possibly very handy. Those will come in handy, I think. So that's fun. And then there's the tiny rulebook with the basic rules. I'm assuming it's the basic rules. It might not be the basic rules. Might be slightly more than the basic rules. What is this? Oh, this might be a DM screen. I didn't actually have a DM screen, so I could use this. I have to refold it along one of the creases so that it actually makes the right shape, but, you know, that's not too difficult. Yeah. There you go. And looks like we got some character sheets. Yeah, so nothing particularly that I would say that I personally wouldn't run a game with just the Essentials kit, but I also like making things way more complicated than necessary, so that isn't a bad review of the product. It may well be everything that is essential to run a game of D&D, but I usually like having more than that. But you know what? This Dungeons and Dragons welcome booster sure is, in fact, a Dungeons and Dragons welcome booster. It had, I kid you not, Dungeons and Dragons. It's literally the dumbest joke I've ever made.